What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Opendoor. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down what's moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Opendoor is up a very impressive 9.03%, 786 the low, 874 the high, but very low volume. So 83.2 million shares being traded, 373 is the average. So when it came down to the market, I think it was automatically starting to think the worst was about to come because of a potential shutdown. But luckily enough, things just went up from here, largely because, in my opinion, because of the data. So ADP employment came in at negative 32,000, forecast of 40,000. So massive miss. And for those of you that have been kind of following my channel, you know that by the end of this week, we were either going to fully price in either a 25 basis point cut or potentially start to assume a 50 basis point cut is on the table. And lo and behold, that's exactly how this is kind of looking. So at the end of the day, this is one thing that's really pushing a lot of the broader market higher. At the same time, we did have manufacturing data coming in better than anticipated. So 49.1 versus 49. Leading into today as well, Kaz did mention that there was going to be some big launch and some big PR. At the time of doing this video, nothing has been submitted just yet. But as you can kind of see from this correspondence on Twitter, someone did ask saying it's 9 a.m. Where's the press release? He just simply responded saying it's 6 a.m. We will get to this today, likely around noon. So kind of interesting that he's actually giving a time, but essentially that is why we are moving higher, because of that set date. At the same time, the market is also digesting this. So the recent purchase that was done and submitted after hours yesterday. So about 300,000 transaction code P. So meaning a purchase using their own money at a price of $665. Essentially it was done on September the 16th. So some people like this, some people don't. Some people don't like the fact that they got a discount, but in my opinion, I think the fact that they put their own money where their mouth is worthwhile and something to take note of. Aside from all of that though, you are seeing shorts increasing 2.87 million shares. So despite the lower-ish volume today, you are seeing shorts fairly active. 19.94% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 141.4 million shares overall being shorted. So definitely interesting. I would have anticipated that shorts would be returning today with this recent Form 4 that came out and the potential news that is going to be coming, but clearly shorts think that maybe the broader market is going to pull a little bit lower. I'm not really sure. But looking at the options, 17 million in calls, 4.09 million in puts, and then 52% of all the options being done are bullish in nature. Coming from the bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 9 to 950. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 750. One thing I do want to share with you though, latest Elliott Wave Technicals is actually now projecting for Opendoor to hit between the 1119 and 1274. So huge increase is anticipated. So again, that's it bouncing off of some key moving averages. So coming from a bull standpoint, you kind of see that they're a little bit on the low end. So there should be a little bit more optimism in my opinion, but potentially that could change with maybe some new news or something like that. These are all the transactions occurring today so far on the secondary markets. You are seeing a lot of big transactions right here, kind of mixed, some buying, some selling overall. Aside from that, these are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool. So keep in mind, today is the first day in Q4. So institutions would have already rebalanced. So you might not be seeing any crazy abnormal transactions anymore, but rather any institutions actually trading it and whatever else. So basically, even though we're seeing lower volume, a lot of the transactions is actually linked to actual institutional transactions and trading and whatever else. Right now, with at 878, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 839 is going to be a strong support. 936 followed by 996 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. So if shorts do continue to kind of double down, it is fair to assume as well that there will be a short squeeze that does come sooner or later. So let me know your viewpoint on that. But on the actual chart itself, you see it now getting above that 10-day moving average, so getting some nice good momentum there. Comparing today versus yesterday, you see the same kind of blocks of sellers. And so I think in general, with that good news, this is where Opendoor could do a very substantial dent in that wall and potentially even retest that $10 range, at least in the short term. So let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. There hasn't been any recent analyst ratings, no real articles coming out or anything like that. So I think in general, once Kaz and Opendoor puts out that news, then you'll see Opendoor just completely fly like crazy. So let me know your viewpoint on Opendoor. So I just wanted to quickly pop on, go over some of the data points, what's really influencing it today and everything else. But today overall is very interesting because, like I said, I think going into today, just the whole shutdown type of mentality, people were assuming that it was going to be like a 5-10% red day. So the fact that we are very much in the green is deserving of a round of applause. Now we're just waiting for that news, like I said, to essentially drop. And then if we do potentially see more of these types of transactions, insiders buying and so forth, then that's just going to even further validate the positive sentiment behind Opendoor. So let me know your viewpoint on Opendoor. Do you think a squeeze is possible? What have you been buying? Have you been selling? So let me know your general thoughts. Then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.